Hello lovelies, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is DK Onye. In this tutorial, I want to show you how to draft a half scale bodice block. Join me, let us get our basics right. So that's the materials we're going to use, and that's my French curve. So I went ahead to create the top line at the top and at the side, as you can see. Then I'm going to go ahead and impute my bust divided by 2 plus 2 extra inches, using that as a guide. Just look at where I placed my tape. 34 divided by 2 is 17 plus 2 inches, that is 19 inches, is what I'm placing on my pattern paper, using the top line at the side as a guide. So I went ahead to use my ruler to make the markings visible. So I'm going to impute my half length, my front half length, which is 16.75 inches. So I'm going to impute it across to create a box that is going to guide us in drafting the half scale bodice block. Use my ruler to make the markings visible. So here's our box to guide us. I'm going to go ahead and divide this box into 2. The width of the box is 19 inches. When you divide it into 2, you have 9.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead to impute the 9.5 inches from the top straight down. I used my ruler to make the markings clear, as you can see. So we have successfully divided the boxes into 2 equal halves. So I went ahead to label my center front and my center back. You can use whichever one of the boxes. So my shoulder is 15 inches divided by 2, 7.5. So I'm going to place it on both the front block and the back block. Just watch where I placed my tape. What you impute on the front block is what you're going to impute on the back block on the shoulder line. So on that shoulder line, I'm going to come down by 1 inch on the back block, 1 inch, to create my shoulder slant. So from that shoulder line, I'm going to impute my chest line. My bust is 34 divided by 6 plus 1.5 inch. My chest line is 7.1. So you place your tape on that shoulder slant you came down by 1 inch and impute the 7.1 inches, which is going to serve as our chest line. So you impute your shoulder measurement 7.5 inches on that point. That is going to serve as your chest line. So I'm just going to go ahead to use my ruler to create and rule out the chest line. So I went ahead to extend the chest line mark to the front block, as you can see. Or you can decide to measure from the shoulder line to the chest line. Whatever you get, you can just impute it on the front block to derive your chest line. Then I went ahead to impute my shoulder to my bust point. So my shoulder to bust point is 9.5. So we'll just place your tape on your shoulder line and impute your shoulder to bust point to derive your shoulder to bust point line. Mine is 9.5, as you can see. Then I use my ruler to make the markings clear. So you measure what is on your shoulder line, that is your shoulder divided by 2, and you place it on your chest line, as you can see. Then go ahead and rule out the line you connect from the shoulder to your chest line. Then after that, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inches on that line to create my shoulder slant, 1.5 inches. The front bodice block, you come down by 1.5 inches to create your shoulder slant, while the back bodice block, you come down by 1 inch. So I went ahead to mark my neckline, which is 3 by 3. That is the standard, 3 inches for the width and 3 inches for the depth. So I went ahead to create a box to make it easier for me to draw my neckline. We're going to use a round neckline for this tutorial. So I used my French curve, just trying to place it accurately to get the round neck line, as you can see. So yeah, I've gotten the best angle, as you can see. So you connect the neckline to the shoulder slant point, as you can see. So on the chest line is where you're going to impute your bust measurement. So your bust divided by 4. My bust is 34. Divided by 4 is 8.5. That is 8.5 inches. So you're going to impute your bust measurement on your chest line. So after dividing mine, I got 8.5. So I went ahead to mark 8.5 on the chest line. Then I added 0.25 of an inch. After imputing your bust divided by 4, you impute 0.25 of an inch for ease, as you can see. So you're going to go ahead and impute whatever it is you marked on your chest line. You measure what is there. Is going to be a total of, mine is a total of 8.75 of inches. So I imputed it also on the waistline. Whatever measurement that is on the chest line, that is your bust divided by 4 plus 0.25, is what you're going to mark on your waistline. So go ahead and use your ruler to connect. So now we have our shoulder to the chest line, shoulder to the bust point line, shoulder to our front half length line, as you can see. So on the chest line, I'm going to go up by 3 inches. On the chest line, go up by 3 inches to create our across front points, as you can see. So you go in by 0.75 of an inch. You can decide to go in by 0.75 of an inch if you don't want to impute your across front measurement. So I'm just going to go ahead to use my ruler to make it visible so you understand what I'm trying to say. So that line is going to be our across front or across chest line, whichever one you want, across chest or across front line. So my across chest is 12 inches. 12 divided by 2 is 6 inches. So you can decide to impute your across chest measurement on your across chest line, but for this tutorial we are just going to go in by 0.75 of an inch, as you can see. So I just went ahead to connect that across chest point to the shoulder slant and use my curve to create my armhole curve. As you can see, just trying to get the perfect point using my French curve. Yeah, I think I've gotten it. So using the French curve as a guide, you can see the result. That's our armhole curve. So on the waistline, I'm going to impute my nipple to nipple, which is 6, and divide by 2. I got 3 inches. So you're going to impute 3 inches from the waistline straight up to the bust point line. Use your ruler and make the markings visible, as you can see. Then on my waistline, I'm going to impute my waist measurement, which is 28 inches. My waist is 28 inches. Divided by 4 is 7 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and place 7 inches on my waistline from the center front. Watch the way I place my tape. Impute my 7 inches. Then after that, I'm going to measure what is left. Just watch where I'm pointing at. Measure what is left there in between that 2 points. Measure what is left. Mine, I have 1.75 inches. I got 1.75 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and divide 1.75 inches by 2. Whatever it is you get as the SS after imputing your waist measurement, you divide it by 2. Mine is 0.8 of an inch, so I went ahead to impute 0.8 of an inch on the two sides of the nipple to nipple point, as you can see, to create my dart leg. So I came down by 0.5 from the bust line. You can decide to come down by 1 inch, but for this tutorial I just went down by 0.5. So use my ruler to create the two dart legs. That is another method of contouring the waistline, because we are all different and we have different waist dart proportions. So as you can see now, so onto the back bodice block, I'm going to go ahead and measure what I have on the shoulder line, which is 7.5, and impute it on the chest line. Then you come down by 1 inch like we did previously. I'm just trying to recap what we did for the shoulder slant and connect from the shoulder line to the chest line, as you can see. So after that, I'm going to go ahead and impute my neckline. The standard is 3, the width is 3 inches for the back, the same thing we did for the front, and the depth or the length is 1 inches. That's just the standard. 1 inch rather, that's just the standard. So I went ahead to first create a box to guide me. Use my ruler to make the markings visible, as you can see. Then use my French curve to shade my round neck. Just trying to find the perfect curve, as you can see. Yeah. Make sure you get your perfect curve. As you can see, that's my round neck for the back. After that, I connected my neckline to the shoulder slant, as you can see. Then on my bust line, I went ahead to impute my bust measurement, which is 34 divided by 4, that is 8.5. So you're just going to impute what you have on your front block. On the chest line, you're going to impute the same thing on the back block, which is 8.75 for mine. Just whatever it is you measured or imputed on your front chest line is what you're going to impute on your back chest line. So I'm just going to go ahead and impute my knee to waist, that is my back half length, which is 15 inches. So place my tape on my shoulder line and impute my knee to waist, which is also the back half length, 15 inches. Just impute it across the back block. So I went ahead to use my ruler to make the markings visible, as you can see. Here's our shoulder to chest line. There's our shoulder to nip to waist, which is also back half length. So on the waistline, I'm going to go ahead and impute my waist measurement. My waist is 28. 28 divided by 4, I have 7 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and impute 7 inches on the waistline. As you can see, 7 inches. Then I'll add 1 inch for the dart intake. For the back bodice block, use 1 inches for the dart intake. So I'm going to connect the dot from the chest line to the dot on the waistline. And as you can see, so I'm going to go ahead and create my across back. So you get the midpoint of the armhole line. Measure it. Just watch the way I place my tape to get the midpoint of that line. So that's my midpoint. So I'm going to use my ruler to make it visible. Make sure that your ruler is straight. Make sure it's straight. So that's going to be our across back line. I'm going to label it so you can see. That's the across back. So my across back is 13. 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. You can decide to place your across back measurement on your across back line. But in this tutorial, we're going to go in by half of an inch. Just watch the way I place my tape, half of an inch for this tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and connect that point on the across back line to the shoulder slant line, like that. Then I'm going to use my French curve to create my armhole line. So just trying to get the perfect curve. Yeah, that's it. As you can see, that's our armhole curve there. So on the front ball, that's our shoulder to waistline. And that's our shoulder to knee to waistline. So we are going to make use of the difference between the front half length and the back half length, or you can decide to just measure what's left on that box there after imputing your shoulder to knee line. So mine is 1.75. The main thing is the difference between your front half length and your back half length is what you're going to place by the side seam. So you're going to come out by half of an inch from the nipple to nipple line on the bust points line and connect it to the side dart. Side dart, which is our bust dart. As you can see, that's our bust dart. The bust dart is the difference between the front half length and the back half length. Is what's going to be used as our bust dart. So on the waistline, I'm going to impute my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 6 divided by 2, that is 3. Just going to impute it all along till I get to the chest line, then use my ruler and make the markings visible, as you can see. Then I'm going to go ahead and divide the 1 inch intake I imputed on the waistline onto the two sides of the nipple to nipple line. Half an inch to one side and half an inch to the other side, like that, and use my ruler to create the dart legs, as you can see. So on the center back, for us to avoid the zipper bulge, so we are going to go in by half an inch. You can decide to go in by 0.75 of an inch, but since I'm on the smaller sides, I'm going to go in by half of an inch on the waistline to avoid the zipper bulge. As you can see, half of an inch, like that. I'm going to take my ruler and connect it straight up close to the neckline. So just place your ruler and connect it like that. As you can see. So it's going to help to avoid zipper bulge. So this half an inch that we went in by, we're going to return it back to the side seam of the waistline. So whatever it is you use to contour the side back, you have to return it back to the side seam on the waistline. So you connect it straight to the chest line, as you can see. So on the shoulder slant, I'm going to come down by 0.25 of an inch where my tape is being placed at, to avoid this shoulder gaping. There are times that when after sewing your front and back shoulder together, most times you notice that there's a bulge at the shoulder slant there. So I'm going to also go in by 0.3 of an inch on the front neckline tip, like where I'm placing my tape, just like that, 0.3 of an inch, and connect it to the shoulder slant like that. As you can see, just to avoid that shoulder slant bulge close to the neckline. So I went ahead to cut it out from the box. So after that, I'm just going to separate the two blocks by cutting through the line in between, like that. So now we now have the back block and the front block. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the waistline, the midpoint of the waist dart, like so. So I'll be able to close up the side bust dart. You have to open up one part of the dart to be able to close up another dart. So we're going to close up the side bust dart. So I used my sellotape. Just make sure you fold in the line properly and make sure they meet onto each other like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it through. Make sure you cut up to the bust point, so it will be easier for you to close up the side bust dart, as you can see. So I'm just cross-checking to be sure. So I used my sellotape, paper sellotape, to close it in place, put it in place rather. So if you notice by the side, there's a shortage by the side seam. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my marker and ruler to reconnect, that is to blend it. Watch the way I'm going to blend it up, straight up to the chest line, from the chest line down. So I blended it to avoid any shortage by the side seam, because if you don't blend it, by the time you cut it out like that, and so there'll be shortage by the side seam. As you can see, just going to use my marker to make it clear, because I actually used the sellotape on it. So after that, you just cut through the lines, as you can see. That's our new shoulder. Then also on the back, I'm going to cut through that half of an inch I went in by, then cut through that 0.25 of an inch close to the neckline also. So just watch the way I cut through. You cut off the half of an inch you went in by. Remember, we've replaced it already at the side seam. The front, I cut out the dart legs, but the back, you won't cut out the dart legs. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.